everyone, it's Meg from Creative Cove here. So today I'm sharing with you 55 awesome Notion tips and tricks that will blow your mind and supercharge your productivity. Let's jump straight in. So the first tip is adding an emoji using a colon. So if you want to add cute little emojis like this to your Notion space really quick and easy, then all you need to do is type in a colon like this and the name of the emoji. So I'm going to type in smile as an example. And as you can see, it's bringing up a range of different emojis that are smiley faces. So let's pick this one. The second tip is using a quote block to create vertical dividers. So as you can see here in this example, I have these vertical dividers separating my columns. Now this is actually a workaround. Notion doesn't currently have a feature where you can add vertical dividers. Currently they only have these gray dividers like this that are horizontal only. But there is a workaround where you can create vertical dividers like this. So to do this for yourself, all you need to do is / quote and select this quote block, which will bring up a small vertical line like this. To create the vertical divider, you want to hold down the shift key on your keyboard and hit enter until you have the length of divider that you desire. Once you're happy with the length, you can then grab a empty block beneath. So I'll just put some text in it so you can see the block, and you want to drag that to the side until you see this blue line appear and then let go. And there you have it. You've now got two columns and you can type on either side of the line. The third tip that I want to share with you is dragging and dropping blocks into pages. So if you didn't know this already, you can take blocks like this and drag and drop it straight into a page. So let's just say that I want to put this into another page. So I'm going to type in / page and just quickly set up a new page. This could be my notes page, and I'm just going to select empty page to start. If I just go back now onto this page, so let's just say that these are the notes that I've taken, but I actually want to move these onto this separate notes page. So one way that you could do that would be to copy all of this text, go to this note page and paste it, but that would take a bit of time. So a quicker way to do that would be to highlight all of the blocks, click on the 6 dots next to them, drag them and drop them into the page. So now these have disappeared, and if I click on our notes page, as you can see, the notes have now magically appeared on this page instead. So that's a really quick and easy way to move things onto different pages. The next tip is using a Kanban board to track your progress. So here I have a little video tracker that I've made in a table format. So as you can see, I've got a list of all the videos that I want to create for my YouTube channel, and I have a status property. So it shows if I've started the video, if it's in progress, or if it's done. So this is quite a nice system, but it would look a little bit better if I used a Kanban board. So to do that, what I'm going to do is click on these 3 little dots here and click on layout. Rather than table, I'm going to click on board. So now that I've done that, as you can see, the videos are now listed based on their progress. To make this even more visually appealing, if I go back on layout, I can select this color column. So I'm just going to toggle that on. So it adds a little bit of color to the column so they look a little bit better. So this is a really neat way to track your progress. I also really love that you can just drag and drop things between the columns. So say that this beginner mistakes in Notion video, it's gone from not started and it's now in progress. I can just drag and drop it into the in progress column. And again, once I've completed it, I can just drag and move it to the done column. So the next tip that I have is adding grouping to databases. So here we have a table where I am tracking all of the tasks that I need to complete for various different classes. Now to make this more manageable, I can group the tasks together based on the class that they are for. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on the 3 little dots here and I'm going to select group. Then it's going to ask me, what do I want to group these tasks by? So in this case, I want to group them by the class. So that's what I'm going to select. I'm also just going to hide the empty groups to clean this up a little bit. So if we have a look now at our task database, we now have 3 different toggles, one for each class. And if I open the toggle, it now brings up just the tasks related to this class, and I can nicely tick them off as I go and close it once I'm done. It's just a more manageable and easier way to keep track of all your tasks for the different classes. Another awesome trick that a lot of people don't know about is that you can actually double click on database columns in order to resize them. So this is a really great way to tidy up your databases quickly. So to do this, all you need to do is just double click here. And as you can see, it will shorten the column and it will just take it up to the longest piece of text within the column. I can do this one on here. As you can see, there's a lot of empty white space here. So if I double click here, it will just shorten the column to make it more manageable and a little bit cleaner. Another Notion trick that will save you a lot of time is dragging a cell down to autofill the cells within a database. So let's take a look again at our task list. So let's just say that I've added all of these tasks here for my Spanish class. So I'm now going to add another class within here that is Spanish. So let me click on here. I'm just going to type in Spanish. Now next what I would need to do is add Spanish into every single one of these, but as there's quite a few tasks, that's going to take me quite a long time. There is a quicker way to do it, and that is simply by clicking on this cell here. And when you get this little blue border, you want to click on this little circle, drag it down, and it will auto-populate that into every single row. So this is just a really quick and easy way to auto-populate cells. Another handy Notion trick is using the keyboard shortcut Command or Control D to quickly duplicate blocks. So if you're on a Mac, you want to use Command plus the D key, and if you're on Windows, use Control plus D. So to be able to do that, I'm just going to hit my cursor next to this block here and hit Command D, and as you can see, that instantly duplicates the block. I could do this over and over again if I wanted it multiple times. It's a really quick and easy way to duplicate things within your workspace. The next tip is adding color to databases. So here is an example of adding a colored background to a database. Notion currently doesn't actually give you an option to add color to databases, but there is a workaround which I'm going to show you now. So here is our blank database. So what I'm going to do is type in /toggle and select the toggle list block. I'm then just going to open the toggle by clicking on the arrow, and I'm going to drag and drop the database inside the toggle. Now that it's in a toggle, you can actually add a background color to a toggle. So what I'm going to do is click on these 6 little dots here, and on color, I'm just going to select the color background that I want. So let's just pick blue as an example. So now as you can see, the database now has a background color, but I don't really want it in the toggle. So what I can do is click again on the 6 dots, select turn into, and select text. That's going to remove the toggle, but luckily it does still keep the colored background for the database. So that's just a really quick and easy way that you can add color to your databases. The next tip is that a lot of people often overlook pre-made Notion templates. These can actually save you a lot of time and energy. So these templates are professionally designed, and they're often created by experts within the Notion community. They will save you hours of time, as you can choose a template that already fits your needs rather than spending hours building the pages and databases from scratch. Another great thing about templates is that they're often super customizable, so you can easily adapt them to suit your needs. So there are actually so many pre-made Notion templates out there, both free and paid. Notion themselves have a ton of pre-made templates that you can access within Notion. I'd also recommend checking out my store, as I've spent a lot of time creating some pre-made templates, including a travel planner, a finance tracker, and so much more. So I'm just going to show you a few examples of some of the templates that I've created and show you how they can save you so much time. So this one firstly is my travel planner. So as you can see, I've set up a little database here where you can input all of your trips. So on here you can input the key details about the trip, like the dates, and the template will automatically work out how many days to go until the trip and the days and nights. And when you click on a trip, you then can scroll down, and there is a template here which will allow you to fill in all of the details about the trip. So all of your hotel, flight information, a map. You can upload important documents here. I've also got a budget section, an interactive itinerary, a place where you can list and rate restaurants and activities. There is so much to this template. Another page that I love on here is the countries page. So I spent a ton of time inputting every single country and a lot of dependencies into this template. So on here you can easily select the countries that you visited. So let's just say that I visited this one, and the template will automatically calculate how much of the world you've explored. You can also select the ones that you want to visit soon, and they will be added to your wish list. Another template that I love that I created is my reading tracker. So this allows you to track the progress of books that you either want to read or are reading. So under the currently reading tab, you can see the books that you're currently reading. It will show you your progress, the current page that you're on, and when you started. And once you finish the books, you will then see an overview of when you read the book, how long it took you to read, and you can also give it a rating. I've also automatically generated these cool reading stats blocks, so you can see how many books you've read this month, this year, or in total, and how much time you spend reading. There is a ton more to this template. I've also got a yearly report, a reading goals page, and so much more. Another handy tip that a lot of people don't know about is that you can actually add a date range rather than a single date. So let's just say that this is a travel planner. So these are the places that I'm visiting, and I want to add in a date property so that I can see when that trip is going to take place. So I'm going to click on the plus symbol and type in date. So this is the date property. You've probably seen this before. So if I then click on this box, it will ask me to select a date. But in this case, it's a trip, so I would prefer to have a date range so I can select the dates that I will be on the trip. So to be able to do that, you want to firstly select the first date. So let's just say that I'm going on this date, and down here it says end date. So what I'm going to do is toggle that on, and that will then allow me to select a second date. So I'm going to select this one, and as you can see now in the box, it is now showing a range of dates so that I can see the dates of the trip. You can also add the time on here. So here it says include time. So if you want to add the exact time, for example, of your flights or for any other reason, you can also add time on here as well. So one way that you can make your Notion space way more visually appealing is by using a gallery view with a cover photo. So let's just say that you have a table like this. So this is a travel planner, so we just have the name of the trip and the dates. One way to make this look a lot better is by switching this from a table to a gallery view. So what I'm going to do is click on the three little dots here, and where it says layout, I'm just going to click on there and select gallery view, which is going to make it look like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is where it says card preview, I'm going to change it to page cover. So what that's going to allow me to do is all this blank space here, it's going to allow me to put a cover photo there. So I could put a photo of each place that I'm going to visit to make it look a little bit better. Now to actually add the photo, what you want to do is click on the card. So this one is Copenhagen, and up here it'll say add cover. So I'm going to select that. Firstly, it will just add a random cover photo. So to change it, you want to click on change cover, and then you can select upload, where you can upload an image that you want to display. So I'll just click on upload file and upload an image of Copenhagen. So if I now go back onto here, as you can see, that photo has now been added and it looks a lot better than it did before as a table. So my next tip is using Unsplash for quick cover photos. So when we just uploaded the cover photo here for Copenhagen, as you can imagine, it would take you a bit of time to find a photo, download it, and then upload it as the cover photo onto Notion. There is a much quicker and easier way to find beautiful photos and upload them in an instant. So what we're going to do is click again on here, and I'm going to click on change cover. Now we do have an option here that says Unsplash. So I'm going to click on that one. So Unsplash is essentially just a free photo stock library. It's integrated into Notion so that I can download images from Unsplash in an instant. So what I'm going to do is just type in Copenhagen into here, and Unsplash will bring me up a range of beautiful photos of Copenhagen for me to choose from. So I'm just going to select this one as an example. So if you just give it a second, it will download the photo and upload it straight into Notion for you. So as you can see, within just a few seconds, I've added a really beautiful picture of Copenhagen onto my gallery view. Another handy tip is you can use this little reposition button just to move the picture around if you'd prefer to see a different part of the image. Another way that you can grab cover photos for the gallery view is by using the link feature. So the link feature essentially allows you to find any photo on the internet that you like, copy the link, paste it into Notion, and Notion will automatically download that image and upload it into the cover photo for you. So let's go over to Google Images and find a photo for Dubai. Okay, so here we are over on Google Images. So what I'm going to do is pick a photo that I like. Let's just go with this one. So I'm going to select it. Once it's loaded, you want to right click on the image and select copy image address. Next, back over in Notion, I'm going to click on Dubai and add a cover photo. I'm then going to click change cover and select this link option here. Then it's going to ask me to paste in the link. So I'm just going to paste in the link that we just copied and click submit. So as you can see, it grabbed that image from Google within seconds. I didn't have to bother downloading and uploading the image. It did it all for me. And the great thing about this link feature is that it works on any image across the web. So it doesn't have to be a Google image. It could be from social media or any website on the internet. Another great thing about the gallery view is that you can actually change the size of these cards. So what you want to do is click on these three little dots here and select layout. If you just scroll down, there are a range of different options here. So you want to click on card size. It's currently set to medium, so I could set it to small for a smaller card size, or I could also set it to large if I want something a little bit bigger. So this is a great way to customize your gallery view even more. Another thing that a lot of people still don't know about is that you can actually change properties directly from this gallery view. So let's just say that I've changed the dates for my Copenhagen trip. I can actually just click on the date here and change it really instantly. So a lot of people think that you need to go back to the table view in order to change properties, but I can just change it directly on the card and it will update instantly for me. Another great feature that Notion added recently is recurring tasks. So this means that I could add something to my task list and tell Notion that I want it to auto-generate that task for me every day, every week, or whatever interval that I select. So let's just say that I want to review my Spanish flashcards every single day. So what I'm going to do is where it says new up here, I'm going to click on this little down arrow and select new template. I'm then going to give it a name. So this one is going to be review Spanish flashcards, and I'll also just add the class here as Spanish. And then I'm just going to click back. Next, I'm going to click again on this down arrow and you should see that template that we've just created appear here. So as you can see, it says review Spanish flashcards. I'm just going to click on these three little dots here and click repeat. So they're going to ask me how often I want to repeat it. So this one I want to repeat every single day. So I'm going to select every day. You'll then get a ton of more options. So I don't actually have to do it every single day. If I wanted to do them every other day, I could say repeat every 2 days or every 3 days. It's really up to me. So in this case, I do want to do it every single day. So I'm going to leave it as every every one day. It'll then ask me when I want this to start, so it'll automatically come up with today's date, so I'm going to leave it as that. But if I wanted to, I could start from, say, next week. And then it will ask me at what time I want that task to be generated. So it usually comes up with midnight, so I'm just going to leave it as that. If you wanted it to be generated at a specific time of the day, then you can select that here. So just to show you how this will work, I am just going to ask it to auto-generate this 1 minute from now, so that I can show you how it will appear on the table. Okay, so as you can see, the Review Spanish flashcards just appeared at the bottom, so that will now auto-generate every single day. Another feature that I love is that you can select a variety of different intervals. So if I just go on here, it will allow me to change it from, instead of repeat daily, I could repeat weekly. So I can select to have it appear every other week, every 3 weeks. You can even select which days of the week you want it to show. So with these settings, it would appear every single week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, for example. You can also change it to monthly or yearly options as well. The next trick is to use column blocks to easily create columns. So in the past, if you wanted to create column blocks like this, you might have done it by creating a new block like this and dragging and dropping it to the side to create a new column. But recently Notion have added a new, quicker and easier way to add columns, and that is using a column block. So all you need to do is type in / and type in column, and as you can see, there are a range of different blocks that will automatically generate columns for you. So let's just say that I wanted 5 columns, so that will then automatically bring up 5 columns. So as you can see, if I just find them all, there are 5 different columns here that I can use, and I can just start typing straight into the columns. Another cool trick that I want to share with you is how to add columns within columns. So this was our previous to-do list, so it works quite nicely, but maybe you want to split the tasks up into work and personal. So as you can see down here, we have one column here, which is our Monday column, so I can add some notes in here, and then down here we have 2 further columns within this column where I can just list my tasks under work or personal. So Notion actually doesn't currently offer a feature where you can add columns within columns, but there is a workaround that we can use that I'm going to show you now. So I'm just going to add 2 columns. So I'm going to type in column and select 2 columns. So let's just say that this one is our Monday and this one over here can be Tuesday. So you can add whatever you want into the column, and then to create the other 2 columns within it, what I'm going to do is type in / page and just set up another page. So you can call this page anything, so I'm just going to call it columns, and I'm going to select empty page. Then what you need to do is add in the columns that you want to display in the other column. So in this case, I'm just going to add 2 columns, but feel free to add more columns if you want more. So I'm just going to again type in / column and select 2 columns. And just as an example, I'm just going to type in a to-do list block in each of them. Now we're just going to go back to the previous page. So this is what it will currently look like. You have the column here with this new page that we've just added. So now what we're going to do is click on these 6 dots here, and where it says turn into, I'm going to turn it into text. So what that is going to do is it's going to convert all of the content that was on that page into text in this location. So as this is in this column, it has added the 2 columns within this column. So I'm just going to delete the column's name, and there we have it. We actually have now 2 columns that we can use to add tasks. Another feature that a lot of people still don't know about is that you can actually change the page width and font of your Notion pages. So here is a default page, so I've just added in some Spanish notes here. So as you can see, this is a smaller view. There is a lot of white space on either side. So if you click on the 3 little dots in the corner, and you can actually select this full width, and if you toggle that on, as you can see, it makes the page a lot bigger, so I have a lot more space that I can use. So in this example, I could maybe add another column here, and I could add another vocabulary list. It just gives you a lot more space to work with. You can also change the font of this page up here as well. So again, if I click on the 3 dots, as you can see here, it says style, so we're currently on the default style. But if I click serif, it will change to this font, and there is also the mono font as well. So it's pretty easy to switch between these 3 fonts. My personal favorite one is the serif font. Another Notion feature that a lot of people still don't know about is using native progress bars. So Notion has this feature here where you can add a progress bar using a formula. So in this example, we have a reading tracker. So I've got the name of a book here, the current page that I'm on, and then the total pages in the book here. So I've then set up this little progress bar will work out how far along I am in the book based on these 2 numbers. So I'm just going to show you briefly how you can set this up for yourself. So to add the progress bar, you want to add another property, and this one is going to be a formula property. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to give this one a name of progress, and I'm just going to click on this formula edit button to bring up this panel, which is where we're actually going to write in the formula. So as you can see here under properties, this will bring up the properties that I currently have in the table. So to work out the percentage of the book that I've read, I want to do our current page divided. So to divide, I'm just going to put this / divided by the number of pages. And I'm just going to put some parentheses around that to isolate it. So this formula will work, but it will bring up a really long number with lots of decimal points. So to make it look a little bit cleaner, what I'm going to do is use the round function. So I'm going to type in round and open a parentheses, and then I'm going to type in 100 and this little asterisk sign, which is going to multiply this equation by 100, and then just going to add one more parentheses at the end to close this off. And finally, we just need to divide this again by 100. So that is the equation we're going to use. So I'm going to click done, and down here I just need to change the number format. So it's currently coming up as a number like this, but I actually want this to display as a percentage. So under number format, I'm going to select percent. So as you can see, it's now bringing up an actual percentage. And then finally under show as, I'm just going to select bar so that it actually shows up as a progress bar. You can also change it to a ring if you'd prefer a progress ring, but I think in this case I'm going to leave it as a bar. The next tip that I have for you is creating multiple views of the same database. So some people don't realize that you can actually create multiple views of a database like this. You can even put a view on a different page, or you can just add it as another tab. So in this case, let's just say that I want to see a quick little gallery view that just shows the name of the book and my current progress, but I still want this table here so that I can come back and update the current page and see all of the details about the book. So what I'm going to do is click on this reading tracker here, and I'm going to click duplicate. So that's just going to duplicate the tab so that I have another copy of it, and I'm just going to name this one progress overview, and I'll just pull that to the front. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a gallery view. So I'm going to click on the three little dots here, select layout, and click on gallery. So that automatically brings it up with this white space. So I'm just going to click on card preview and select none to get rid of that space, and then just going to click back, and under properties I'm going to choose which properties I want to display on the card. So in this case, I think I just want to see the progress, so I'm going to select that one and make it show on the card. So as you can see, we've now set up an alternate view of the same database, which includes the exact same information but just in a different way. If I need to go back on the reading tracker to actually change the numbers on here, I can, and any amendments that I make on here will be reflected on this overview page. So currently, let's just say the book thief, I'm 45% of the way. Let's just say that I read a bit more of the book and I go to 300 pages, so my progress has increased to 51%. If I go on the overview page, as you can see, that change has been reflected on this page. Another tip for Notion is that you can use these synced blocks to auto update. So if you just remember in the previous example, I had two different views, one where we had all of the details about the books, and one here which was our little overview where it just shows the progress. Now you can actually use something called a synced block to create these as completely separate blocks. This one here I could put on a completely different page within my Notion space, and it would still auto update if I updated the current page on here. So let me show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do is type in /view, and I'm just going to select this table view block here. So this is now going to ask me which database I want to pull through into this view. So in this case, I want to use this reading tracker, so I'm just going to select that, and it's going to ask me if I want to copy an existing view. So currently the only view is this table here, so I'm going to select that one. So as you can see, we've now got two copies of the same database, so I can change this one in any way I want. So I'm just going to change it back to that gallery view that we had in the other example so that I can see just the progress for each book. So these two databases are synced together, so if I update one, it will update the other. So this block I can put absolutely anywhere. I could put it on a completely different page and it would still automatically update if I updated this one. So let's just set up a new page quickly. So I've just quickly set up this new page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this and drop it into that page. So now that overview is on a completely different page. So let's just go on here just to see it. So this is what it looks like on this page. So as an example, let's see this. It ends with us book is currently on 0%. I've just come back to the other page, and what I'm going to do is just change this to 50, and as you can see, the progress is now 13%. If I go back onto the reading progress page, as you can see, that change has been reflected. So what this means essentially is that I can have a view of any database on any page within my Notion space. They don't have to be on the same page. This is great if you want to set up, for example, a home page or a dashboard. You can have an overview of all of your most important databases where you can make quick changes or see overviews, and you don't necessarily have to go to each individual page or database to make changes. Another tip is adding unique icons to pages. So this is a great way to make your pages more visually appealing, and there are so many icons to choose from. So firstly, Notion themselves have a ton of icons that you can pick from. So if I just click on this icon here, firstly you have the emojis. So this is where you'll find pretty much every emoji you can think of. We also have this icons tab as well, which is something that Notion added recently. So Notion essentially have just added a ton of native icons for, again, pretty much everything you can think of. So you can pick any that you like, you can just click on it and it will also let you select a color. So let's just go with green, and that will then update that here. So there are so many different options here, but if that still isn't enough, you can also upload a custom option. So there are a ton of websites like this notionicons.so where you can get even more icons. So I'm just going to show you that one now. So this is notionicons.so. So I'm just going to click on explore icons. So on here they have a few different icon sets, and in each one there are literally thousands of icons to choose from, all in different styles. One of my favorites is actually this tablet icon set. So they look something like this. So as you can see, this one has over 3,000 icons to choose from. So one thing that I really love about this website is that you can select any color that you want from the color picker. So one limitation with Notion's native icons is that you can only select from a few different colors, but on here I can select literally any color that I want. So let's just go with this green color. You can also amend the stroke width as well. So if you want it really thin or a bit thicker, you can play around with these to get something that you like. You can also use the search feature here to search for something that you're looking for. So as an example, let's just say that I want this spider icon. I can just click on the copy link and then just go back over to Notion. And back over on Notion, if I just click on the icon and where it says custom, I can just paste in that link and click submit, and that will automatically upload the icon here. So another really cool thing I love about Notion is that you can actually add GIFs or GIFs as icons. So as you can see here, I have a GIF as my icon. It's actually really easy to do this. You can just head over to this website here, giphy.com. So I'll just show you how that works. So here we are on giphy.com. So this website is completely free. So all you need to do is just type into this little box here something related to the type of GIF that you're looking for. So I'm just going to type in cute as this example. So this will then bring up a ton of really cool GIFs. They also have this little stickers page as well, which will bring up stickers. I often think that the stickers work quite well as icons because they don't have a background. So you can use either one, just pick something that you like. Let's just use this dog as an example. So when you find one that you like, you just hover over it and click on this little link icon here, and that will then copy the link to your clipboard. And heading back over to Notion, to add it as an icon, you just click on the icon, select custom, and just paste in the link and click submit. If you just give it a few seconds, it will load, and as you can see, that animated GIF or the sticker is now my icon, which is really cool. Another cool Notion feature is that you can also add unique icons to databases. So if we have a look at this database here, it's just that reading tracker again. As you can see, for each property in the database, there is a tiny little icon here. So a lot of people don't realize that you can actually change this icon if you want. So let's use this progress column as an example. So this is actually a formula property, which is why it's bringing up this little formula icon here. So to be able to change it, if I just click on it, and here is the little icon. If I select it, it will bring up Notion's icon library. So I can just pick a relevant icon that I think works better. So in this case, I'm just going to type in graph, and I'm just going to select this little bar chart here. So you can do that with all of the properties. So for example, this one is number of pages. So I could change this one to a book. So this just helps you make your databases look a little bit more unique and maybe even a little bit more intuitive. Another quick Notion hack is linking to pages using the @ symbol. So here is a page link. So to create something like this, you could type in /link and select link to a page. This will then allow you to pick a page to link to, but there is a quicker way to do this. You can simply just type in the @ symbol and then select the page that you want to link to. So let's just say that I want to link to my social media planner. I could just type it in and select what I want to link to. So this is just a really quick and simple way to link to pages rather than grabbing that link to page block. Another way that you can make your databases look a lot cleaner is by hiding their titles. So let's just quickly set up a new database to show you what I mean. So I'm going to type in /database and select database inline. This one is just going to be a task list. So databases always come with a title like this, but I personally think it's kind of in an awkward position. It's like underneath the tabs, and it's nicer to be able to create your own heading like this one here that I created using a callout block. So what you can do is click on these three little dots here and hide the database title. You'll find that a lot of advanced Notion Notion users do this because you can create better looking spaces by creating your own headings. The next tip is wrapping columns that have a lot of text. So here again is our reading tracker, and as you can see here, I've added this summary of each of the books. So if I click on here, as you can see, there's quite a lot of information, but Notion is automatically cutting it off. To be able to see all of the text, you can actually wrap the columns. So what I'm going to do is just click on here, and where it says wrap column, I'm just going to toggle that on. So as you can see, that has now wrapped the text. I can also play around with the width if I want it to be a bit smaller or a bit wider. It's just an easy way to make sure that you can see all of the text within the table. Another Notion hack that a lot of people don't know about is that you can scroll horizontally by hitting Shift and then scrolling as normal. So as an example, here is a table that I have that has a ton of properties and it goes on for quite a long time. A lot of people will scroll to the bottom and use this little bar to scroll along, but there is a quick and easy way that you can scroll. So all you need to do is just hold down the Shift key and then scroll as you normally would with your mouse. So it's just as if you were scrolling up and down. If you're holding the Shift key, it will just go from side to side, which is really handy. Another Notion tip is hiding page properties that you don't need to see. So here we have a default Notion page. So as you can see, it will automatically come up with this comment box. And if you've linked to this page from anywhere else, it will show this backlink. So if this is an important page, you may not want to waste space with this comment and backlink. It just gets in the way and it's not something that most of us use. So to be able to get rid of it, all you need to do is click on the three dots up here, click on customize page, and under sections, it will show the items that appear at the top of the page. So where it says top level page discussions, you want to click on that and turn it off, and as you can see, that comment has now disappeared. And under backlinks, instead of show in pop-over, you just want to switch that off as well, and as you can see, they have both disappeared. So now we have a cleaner looking page and there's nothing appearing here taking up space. Another thing that you can do in Notion is set default icons for pages within a database. So let's just say that I want an icon to appear for every single one of these items within this list. One thing I could do is open each page and add an icon manually. So let's just say I want to add a check mark like this. So I could add this icon manually for everything in the list, but it'd be so much quicker and easier if every time I added something new, this icon would automatically appear. So one way that we can do that is by going up here and clicking on this little arrow here. We can select new template. In this template, I'm simply just going to add the icon. So I'll click on add icon and change it to the icon that I want. So let's just select this one. I'm going to leave everything else on this page blank and I'm just going to hit back. Next, I'm just going to click on this little arrow again, and next to the icon template that we've just created, I'm going to click on the three dots and set as default. And I'm going to select for all views. So essentially what this has done, it means that template that I've just created with the icon is going to be automatically added to everything that I now add to this list. So if I add something new to the list, let's just say walk dog, and hit enter, as you can see, that icon has automatically been added, and every time I add something new, it will also be automatically added. So adding these icons just makes the table look a little bit more aesthetic. So another cool Notion tip that I have to share with you is how to create these cool colored dividers. So currently Notion only has one option for dividers. It's just this gray boring divider here, but you can actually create these fun colored dividers with a little bit of code. So up here, this is the piece of code that you need. So I will put this in the description box below so that you can just copy and paste it. So once you've copied the code, all you need to do is just navigate over to Notion and grab an empty block like this, paste in the code, and it will automatically bring up the color divider. These dividers are super customizable, so if you just click on the divider, it will bring up the code here. So if you want to change the color, you can change it here. So instead of red, I might type in blue, and as you can see, it will become blue, or I could type in green and it will be green. You can also type in a hex code here if you want a really specific color as well. You can also play around with the length and the width of the divider. So where it says 5,000 pixels, that is actually the length. So if I change it down to 500, as you can see, it's now a much shorter length. And to change the width, you just want to change this number here where it says 3 pixels. So if I change that to say 5 pixels, as you can see, it's much thicker. I can do 20 pixels if I want something really thick, or just 1 pixel for something really thin like this. Another quick Notion tip is that you can actually favorite items that you use all the time and add them to your sidebar. So here is my sidebar. So as you can see under favorites, these are pages in Notion that I use all the time. So let's just say that this page here is something that I also use all the time and I want to add it to my favorites. To do that, you just want to go up into the top right hand corner and click on this little star icon here. Once you've done that, as you can see, it will now be added to your favorites. You can also move this around just by dragging and dropping it. So if I wanted it further down the list, I can move it down there. Another tip is checking out Notion's What's New page for all of their latest features. So let's navigate over to this page now. So Notion actually make regular updates to their platform. They can can add new features, they change old features, and the best way to keep up with all of the new updates is by regularly checking their What's New page. So this is where they're going to post all of the updates on new things that they're adding or things that they've changed. Another cool Notion tip is using callout blocks for title headers. So here are some examples of a callout block that I've used to create a really cool and fun looking header. So a lot of people think that for a heading you can only use a H2 or a H3 that looks like this. So let's just say this was my task list. So these are okay, but they are a little bit boring. I prefer to use the callout block. So you want to type in /callout and select this callout block, and that will then bring up something like this. You can then type in the name. So let's just say this was for a travel planner. I usually like to bold the text as well, and you can also change the color of this text if you want. You can also change the background color as well. So if I click on these 6 little dots and color, down here I can select a background. So let's just make this one purple. You can also change this icon. So if you just click on it, it will bring up the icon library. So I'm just going to go in here and type in airplane and select an airplane. You can also select a color here as well. So I'm going to go with purple, and I might just change this to purple as well. So as you can see, we've now created a really fun looking header that looks way better than this boring H2. Another Notion hack is using keyboard shortcuts to add styling to text. So if you didn't know, keyboard shortcuts are essentially where you just press a few buttons on your keyboard and it will do an action for you. So here is a few actions that I used quite often. So the first one is Command if you're on a Mac or Control if you're on Windows plus B, and this will bold the text. So let's just say, for example, I want to bold this piece of text here. I'm on a Mac, so I'm just going to click Command B. And as you can see, that's automatically bolded the text for me. Similarly, I can do the same thing, but Command Control plus I, and that will make it italics. So let's just say this one I want to make italics. I'm going to do Command I, and that's automatically going to change it to italics for me. You can also do Command Control plus U to underline the text. So let's just say that I want to underline this word. I'm going to do Command U, and it will automatically underline that text for me. So this is just a really quick and easy way to add styling to text. Otherwise, you would have to highlight the text like this and go up here and select the styling options that you want, which is fine, but it is just a little bit quicker to use the keyboard shortcut. So another cool Notion hack is typing in /color at the end of a word, and it will allow you to either highlight the text or change its color. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to type in a H2 and I'm going to put travel planner. Now I want to change the text color to red. So what I'm going to do is type in /color at the end, and that's going to bring up these color options. So I can just quickly select red, and it will change the entire text into red. I can also do this again. Let's just say I'm doing my Copenhagen trip, and I'm also going to do /color. So again, I can select the color, but if I go down, I can also select a background color. So let's say I want this one to be yellow. So if I do that, as you can see, it automatically adds a yellow background to the text. To make this even quicker, something else that you can do is, again, let's just do a H3 and do my reading tracker. Let's just say that I want this text to be green. I can type in /color green and hit enter, and it will automatically make it green. So I didn't even have to select the color. It automatically did it based on me typing in the word green. Another Notion tip is using color and icons to grab attention. So here are some examples of some attention grabbing callouts that I've created by using icons and color. So I'm just going to show you quickly how you can create something like this yourself. So these are actually callout blocks. So they're very similar to what we created in the last tip. So I'm going to type in /callout. And I usually like to write something along the lines of attention, and I'm just going to make that bold as well. Next, I'm going to pick an icon. So I'm just going to click on here and select icons. So usually something with an exclamation mark like this works quite well if you want it to be attention grabbing. So I'm just going to select this one. You can then pick the color. If I want it to be really attention grabbing, I'll go with something like a red. For something a little less attention grabbing, something like orange or yellow would work really well. In this case, I'm going to select red. I am also just going to change the color of this text here to red. And I'm just going to change the color of the entire block to red as well, just by going on color and selecting red. So now we have something very attention grabbing, so I can put my message underneath. So to be able to add text within the callout block, you just want to put your cursor here, hold the shift key and hit enter, and that will then make the callout block bigger. If you do this without holding the shift key, it will just go underneath, which is not what we want. So just hold down shift and press enter, and you can then write in your message here. So as you can see, this type of block is way more attention grabbing than just a standard gray block. Another cool Notion feature that not many people know about is the reminder block. So did you know that you can actually set up reminders within Notion? So let's just say that this is my biology notes and I have a biology test coming up on Friday. It would probably be a good idea to set a reminder so that I can review these notes on Thursday, which would be the day before my test. So what I can do down here is I'm just going to type in /reminder, and as you can see it will bring up this block that says date or reminder. So I'm going to select that one. It's then going to ask me when I want to be reminded. So let's just say that I want to be reminded tomorrow, and it will bring up the date for tomorrow, so I can select that. This is then going to give me a reminder so that I know that I need to review this page before my biology test. Another handy Notion trick that I use all the time is using toggles to hide information that you don't need. So let's just say that these are my biology notes and it's quite a long page, so it'd be nice to be able to hide some of this information so I can just open it when I need it, but I don't necessarily have to see it all the time. So what I'm going to do is type in /toggle and select this toggle list. This one is going to be for the mitochondria. So I'm just going to bold that text as well. And what I'm going to do is just highlight all of this information here, and I'm just going to open the toggle and drag it inside. I'm just going to delete this heading here because we don't need it anymore. So now as you can see, we can hide this text within here. So I'm just going to do the same thing for the other one. So I'm just going to add another toggle, and this one is going to be for the nucleus. And I'm just going to drag this information inside. So as you can see, we've now created a much more organized page where the information is easier to digest, so I can just open the toggle that I need to see, read the information, and close it when I'm done. It makes things like taking notes so much easier to be able to hide it once you're done. Another really quick Notion tip is using 3 hyphens to add a divider fast. So as you can see here, I have a grey divider. So these are really handy things to add into your Notion space to break things up a little bit. A really quick and easy way to add in a divider is simply by typing in 3 hyphens in a row, and it will automatically add a divider for you. Another Notion tip is using the tab button on your keyboard to create multiple levels within a list. So here's just a list example that I have. So as you can see, I've got a list of this week's meals. So as you can see on the list, we have spaghetti bolognese, and I've used the tab button to indent the list so that I can list all of the ingredients. And you can even do this on multiple levels. So under the seasonings section, I've done it once again so that I can add the seasonings here. So this is a really great way just to organize your notes. So you can even do this a 4th time as well. So if I just do this one as an example, if I hit the tab button, as you can see, it adds another layer into this list. Another cool feature that Notion have is that you can actually drag rows from one database into another. So these are 2 completely different databases. So let's just use this Call Simon one as an example. So if I just click these 6 dots at the side, I can actually drag this over and just drop it into a completely different database. The main thing to know about this is that if you do have multiple properties on here, so let me just add a status property as an example. If I drag this one and drop it in here, it will not bring over the status property. It will only bring over the name in the first column. Another cool Notion hack is that you can add regular tasks to a database using a button. So here is an example of a daily task list. So here is a few tasks that I complete every single day. So let's just say that once I complete them, I tick them off and they disappear. It's now the next day and I now need to re-add them to the list, which is time consuming because I do them every single day. I therefore have to add them to the list every single day. A quick way to do that would be to set up a button like this where I simply click the button and it adds all of my daily tasks automatically to the list, so I no longer have to type them in every single day. I can just click the button and they will automatically be added. So to set this up, all we need to do is type in /button and select button. For this one, we want to select the add page to, because in this case I need to add a page to this daily task list, so I'm going to select add page to. Then it's going to ask me to select a database that I want to add the page to, so in this case I'm going to pick the daily task list. And first thing, it's going to ask me to give that page a name. So I'm going to type in the name of the first task. So let's just say write in journal. I can then add as many of these as I want. So I'm going to click on add another step. And again, I want to add a page to. I'm going to select the same database and write in my next task. Let's just say walk dog. And let's just add one more. I'm then just going to give this button a name. So I'm just going to call it add daily tasks. And you can also select an icon as well. I tend to just pick something like a plus symbol. And once you're happy with the details, you can click done. So now when I click on this button, as you can see, it will automatically add my daily tasks to the list. Another use of buttons within Notion is creating a quick capture button that allows you to quickly capture either notes or tasks and add them to a database. So the database in question doesn't necessarily have to be present on the page. It could be on an entirely different page, but you can use the button to add things quickly to the database. So let me just show you that in practice. So here is our quick capture button, and here is a page which will take me over to my task list. So here's the task list. So let's just say that I need to add something onto the list. So let me just go back. So I'm going to click on the quick capture button, and here it will allow me to add something to the list. So let's just say that in this case I have a meeting at 5. So I've quickly captured that, so I can select the date on here if I need to and just close it off. So even though there is no database on this page, I have somehow managed to add that meeting to my task list. So if I now go onto my task list page, so as you can see, that meeting has been added to my list, even though I didn't physically add it to the list and I wasn't even on the same page as this database. I just used that quick capture button. So let me show you quickly how you can set this up. So you're going to want to type in /button and select button. So this one again, we're going to use the add page to feature because I need to add a page to that database. So I'm going to let you select a database. So you can select a database from anywhere within your Notion space, so it doesn't have to be on the same page. In this case, I'm going to choose the daily task list. It's then going to ask me to give it a name. So in this case, the name is going to be the name of the task. So I'm not going to know that until I'm actually clicking the button and writing the task. So in this case, I'm going to leave that blank. And then I just need to add one more step, and that's going to be to open the page. So because I actually need to write in the name of the task when I create this, I do need to also open the page so that I can fill in all the details. So it's firstly going to ask me which page. So in this case, it's just going to be the new page that I added. So that's what I'm going to select. And then it'll ask me where I want to open the page. So in this case, I think the side peak would be best. I'm then just going to give it a name. So this one is going to be quick capture. And once you're happy, you can just click done. So now that I've done that, if I click the button, as you can see, it will bring up this side peak where I can make a note of the task that I want to complete. So let's just say that I have a hair appointment and I'll choose the date. I'll then just close that off, and let's go over to our task list. And as you can see, that hair appointment has been added to the list. Another cool Notion hack is using a filter to only see this week's tasks. So let's just say that you have a task list like this. So here are all of the different tasks that I have to complete, and here is the date on which that task is due. So if you use Notion a lot, you might end up with a really long list of tasks that spans weeks or months or even years. So it'd be really handy to be able to see just the tasks that I have to complete this week. So what I can do is click on this little filter button here, and I'm going to filter by the date. That will then bring up some options. So here I can amend the details. So I'm just going to make sure it says this, and I'm just going to select week, and that's going to just select the current week that we're in. So now on the task list, as you can see, now that I've added that filter, this is only showing tasks that are due this week. Similarly, you can change this as well to today. So if you only want to see tasks that are today or this month or this year, it's really up to you. You can play around with the settings. Another Notion tip is to filter out completed tasks. So again, back to this task list example, let's just say that once you tick off these tasks, you would like the task to disappear. Else again, you're probably just going to end up with a long list of tasks, many of which that are completed and you don't really need to see on the list. So to filter out any tasks that have already been completed, you can add a filter, and we're going to filter by checkbox, and you want to say where the checkbox is unchecked. So therefore, this is only going to show tasks where the checkbox has not been checked. So therefore, when I check off the text box, the item will disappear from the list, which means you just have a cleaner daily task list where you can only see the tasks that you actually have to complete. Another Notion tip is locking your pages and databases to prevent any accidental changes. So for example, here is a lasagna recipe. Let's say that I want to send this to someone, but I don't want them to be able to accidentally amend it by mistake. So what I can do, if I head up here to these three little dots, I can actually lock the page. So what that does is it means that I can still send this to someone and they can view all of the content on the page, but they're not actually able to make any changes. So if I start messing around with this, as you can see, it will not let me change anything. If you need to change something at any point, you can go back up to the three dots and unlock it. You can now make changes as normal. You can also use this feature on databases. So I do just have a database here with the ingredients for the recipe. So you can actually lock this database to prevent anyone adding anything further. One thing to know about locking working databases though is that you can still amend details. So for example, I could change this stock level here, but I wouldn't be able to add any further properties. So let me just show you how that works. So I'll click on these three dots here and click lock database. So as you can see, that plus button here has now disappeared. So I can't add any further properties to the list, but I can still change details in here. So let's just say the garlic goes into low stock. I can change it to low stock. I can add notes on here. I can change the amount, but I can't add any more properties. So this page lock feature is a really useful way to be able to prevent from any accidental changes, as it can be quite difficult to retrieve deleted information on Notion. So use the page lock feature if you have important information on a page. Another cool Notion tip is bulk changing pages within a database. So let me just show you what I mean. So here is my ingredient list for the lasagna. So let's just say that I went to the grocery store and I bought everything on this list. So I now want to change the stock level for these ingredients to in stock. Now that would be very time consuming because I'd have to click on every single one and change it to in stock. So a very quick and easy way that I could change everything on this list would be to hover over here at the start, and you can actually use these little checkboxes here to select the items in the list that you want to amend. So I could select on the ones that I want to change. If I do want to change everything in the list, then I can click this one right at the top and that will automatically select everything in the list. If you then have a look up here, it will bring up the properties in the table. So here is our stock level. So I click on that, I can change it to in stock. And as you can see, that's now changed everything in the list to in stock. And that was way quicker than manually going in and amending every single one. Another Notion feature that a lot of people don't know about is Notion's dark mode. So Notion did actually recently release their dark mode, and it's actually really quick and easy to change from light to dark mode. So all you need to do is do this keyboard shortcut here. So it's Command if you're on a Mac, or Control if you're on Windows, plus Shift plus L. So I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to do Command Shift L. And as you can see, that is now switched to dark mode. If you want to switch back to light mode at any point, just do the exact same keyboard shortcut. So Command Shift L, and it will go back to light mode. Another tip that will help speed up your processes within Notion is creating buttons like these that add in pre-made templates. So for example, let me just click this morning routine template, and as you can see, I have a little to-do list with all of the things that I like to do every single morning. So every morning I can generate this block, then I can tick off the things on the list, and I can delete it once I'm done. Then the next morning I can do the same thing. I've also created a journaling template as well. So if I click that, as you can see, it will just bring up a journal template. So it's actually really quick and easy to set up these template buttons. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So what I'm going to do is type in /button and select button. This one we're going to select insert blocks as the action, because that's what I want to happen when I click on the button. That will then bring up this little editor here. So you can use this space as you would normally use Notion. So you can type in /H2 and write a heading, for example. I have already created a journaling template, so I'm just going to paste that in here, but feel free to spend some time coming up with the perfect template. Once you're happy with it, you can just give the button a name. So this is my journaling template, and you can give it an icon here if you want. So I'm just going to use maybe a pen. And once you're happy, you can click done. So that is the button all set up. So now if I click the button, it will automatically insert those blocks into the page. Another cool Notion trick that I didn't know about until recently was that you can see images as a slideshow. So let's just say that you went on a trip to London and you added all of your favorite photos from your trip into a Notion page like this. So this is just using the image block, and I've just uploaded some pictures of London. So you can actually easily view these photos as a slideshow rather than just scrolling up and down the page. So all you need to do is just double click on one of the pictures. That will then bring up a larger view of the picture, and you can just flick through the pictures as you would in a normal slideshow. So this will work on any page within Notion. Even if you have a ton of text or other blocks, it will simply pick out all of the pictures within a page and allow you to view them as a slideshow. So another Notion tip is using the weekly calendar view rather than the monthly view. So if you've ever used the calendar in Notion, then you've probably seen something like this before. This is the default calendar view. It will just bring up an overview of your entire month and all of the tasks that you have to complete throughout the month. So you may not know that you can actually change this to a weekly view instead. So you can do that by clicking on these three dots here, clicking on layout, and down here it will say show calendar as month. So you can click on that and change it to week. And as you can see, it will now change the calendar view just to show an overview of each week. I find the weekly view to be much better if you have a lot of tasks on each day, because on the monthly view you often can't see all of the tasks properly. So if I had all of these on one day, it's much easier to visualize these on the weekly view over the monthly view. Okay, so the final tip that I have to share with you is that you can actually export Notion pages as a PDF. So let's just say that these are some biology notes. Maybe I'm a biology teacher and I want to be able to export these notes as a PDF so that I can share it with my students. So it's actually really easy to do that. So all you need to do is just click on the three dots in the corner, go right to the bottom and click on export. So there are a range of different formats that you can export in. So I'm just going to select the PDF option. If you have databases on the page, they will also be included within the current view. You can select what you actually want to include. So I'm just going to click this on everything. But if you have images or files, then you may want to select no images or files. I'm just going to keep all of the other details as it is. And finally, I'm just going to click export. If you give it a few moments, it will then download the PDF, and as you can see, it has now exported a PDF that looks like this. So this is something that you could easily now send to, for example, your students or whoever you want to send this information to. And that's it. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, as I did put a lot of hours into creating and researching it. You can also subscribe to the channel for more Notion tips and tricks. You can also check out my pre-made Notion templates, including this awesome travel planner, on my store. The link will be in the description box below.